Hello, hello everyone. You are welcome to this channel. Now, today we are continuing in our lecture series on GIS application in forestry. Today we are looking at the graphic user interface, which we refer to as GUI of Quantum GIS. Quantum GIS, as I said in my earlier lecture, that is it's an open source GIS software that is freely available for download. And you can type into your Chrome or Google Chrome, QGIS download, and you'll be able to download QGIS for free. They'll ask you whether you want to donate. You can actually donate for the communities of developers that are uploading new scripts and new plugins to improve the usefulness and the analytical capability of QGIS. So you just download and then you install. It's free to install, it's free to use. It's not like some other proprietary software that you have to buy license and you have to renew your license. You have to pay for the renewal of your license every year. Now, the QGIS is one of the software of GIS, and as I mentioned earlier, that software is a major component of GIS component. When we are looking at GIS from the definition as component-based definition of GIS, as a software is comprised of hardware, software. So QGIS is one of the GIS software that are available for GIS for use of users in GIS environment. So I'm going to introduce you to Quantum GIS, and we are going to see how we can navigate through the QGIS. The first bar you see on top here is what we refer to as menu bar. Under this menu, we have submenus. Under the project menu, you have submenus like new, open source, then open new form template, open from, open recent, and so on and so forth. Then we also have edit, where you can actually edit features and then you can paste features. Then we have view, which you have the new map view, you have 3 view, you have pan view, you have the zoom, you have some. So we have the menu bar, which has a lot of functions. Below it, we have what we call the button bar. Under the button bar, we have the major ones that are here, and then you have the new, and then which are shortcut. Button bar are actually shortcuts to some of the things that are available, some of the tools and functions that are available in the menu bar. So in the submenus, there are some of the functions. So you have the new project, you have the open project, you have the save project. It's actually talking about the complete database of GIS. Below it, we have series of tools. So we have the toolbar, we have several layers of toolbars. So we now have the layers, or what we call the table of content, where you see the legend of some of the information that are available on the map space. This space, what we call the display window, which is the map space, where the maps are displayed. And then below it are the status bar. Below it, on the bottom here, we have the status bar, where you have the coordinate, you have the magnify, you have the rotation, percentage, and things like that. Degree, and things like that. So now let's quickly go to some of the functions. If you want to create a GIS project or want to create a GIS database, so you save it as a project. The first thing you need to do is to save the work as a project. For instance, I'm going to save the work. I'm going to create a new database, which I'll call it Forest Inventory Project. Forest Inventory Project. So I come to menu, I come to new, and then you have the name where you want to save as new, and then you give it a name as a quantum GIS project. Then you navigate to where you want to put it, and you say forest inventory. So you save it, and then this space become the forest inventory project, PRJ. You can open it. Then the next thing we are going to look at is they want to open layers. As I said before, we have the types of data, we have the spatial data and attribute data. So you have the layer. Under this layer, you can actually add layer if it's already in your system before, if you already have the data in your system, or you can create a layer. In our case, we are going to add layer, and we go to add vector layer. This one showing that you can add a vector layer, you can add a raster layer, you can add mesh layer, and all sorts of data. So in our case now, we are going to open a particular map that we call soil data, or we go to their resources and look at Nigerian data, and then we can look at the agro zone. And then when you are here, especially when you are dealing with shapefile, I told us in our previous lecture that shapefile is a generic file for ESRI, and a shapefile is the most interpretable data set, data format that can be used in any form of software. Though it's not the only vector software format that we have, data format that we have, but you have shapefile. So you have a lot of PRJ, DBF, SBN, SBS, as I mentioned earlier on, but you are going to open the shapefile which contain the map data, and then we leave the rest as it is because we are just opening the data. You now click on add, and when you click on add, then it comes to the database. So when you have the database, you have the map that was already in our system before, and then you can now write. If you click on if you select this one, the table of content or the layer window, then you can right click, and then under the right click, you open the attribute table. That is, you want to see the attribute data for every geographic information data set. You have the spatial, and you also have the attribute. So if you click on this, you select this, you now have the data, the attribute data. You have the area of the zone, you have the perimeter, you have the agro zone, you have the name of this area. So you can do a lot of things, but just now we just see how you want to open the data set. Now you can create a thematic map from it. You can create a thematic map from this data set, and thematic map is a data set that show different theme of a particular information. So you click on the symbology. Let me go back to show. You click on this, you double click on the table of content, and then you go to symbology. Under the symbology, you can either show a single symbol, or you go to graduated symbol, or you come to categorize data set. Under the categorized data set, you now have to use the values that you want to use. Let's use agro zone, or let's use name of the category, and then you can now show. We can use let's use the agro zone, and then we say the random color, and then we can click apply, and then it is going to give us the map as supposed to be. And when it gives us this map, we now have there's no data set for that. So let's quickly go to other information. For instance, let's go to this symbol. Let's classify. When you classify, then you click apply. So you now have the data set, And if you want to see the subclasses, they are here. And then if you want to, you can label them if the polygons are big enough, but you can see the type of data set here. And then you have different types of agroecological zone of Nigeria. So that is how you can create a thematic map using QGIS. Now let's quickly go to how we can open a raster data set. Open the raster data set, you say add layer, and in this case now you say add raster layer. And then you navigate to where you save your raster data set. In our case, we are going to look at some of the data we have in the system that we can open in this case. This is an example of a map that was scanned and sent into the data set and become a raster data in that case. But let's see, the map is now here, but we can also download, we can also open a raster data that is like a image. We are going to open one of these data set of Landsat that was already Landsat data set. We can open any of the data sets and just for visualization. Just for visualization, we are also going to see how you can do different types of data. You can do different type of thematic layer. This is actually a data set of Landsat data of some part of Lagos, some part of Nigeria, which is Lagos end. Let me try to see a clearer scene of band 7. You can open and see. Okay, band 7, you can see the database, the Landsat data, which is Landsat 8 data that was for some part of Nigeria. And this one is raster data. As I said earlier on, this is raster because you can zoom and see the pixels that are available there. These are the pixels. Meanwhile, if you want to see the data boundary, the data set for the point line and polygon component of this data that we have before, you can actually come to edit. And when you come to edit, you can select. And when you select, you can see the component of, let's say you want to see the edit. Okay, you can see the edit. And you can see, if you click on this again, you can see how this information, how different vertices form the data set. So these are point, line, and polygon. And then you have this line, this one is represented as point, line, and polygons and series of vertices to make a database. When you come to the raster data, you can see that you can actually go to this, you can zoom to the extent that you get the pixel that makes the data set. You can zoom, so you can see the pixel, and you can measure the distances of the pixel. If you want to check the distance of the pixel, you can come to this area, and then you say you want to know how many meters the pixels are. Let me put, so you measure from here to this place to see the distance. It's 30-meter resolution, 30.2 meter resolution. So that is the difference between raster data and the vector data. And this is how you can open it in QGIS. Next lecture, we are going to go to some other functions in GIS, in the QGIS. But today, what we have shown is how you can load GIS data, raster data, and vector data in QGIS. And after you are done, intermittently, you have to save your work as a project, because we are looking at the forest inventory using QGIS. Thank you for listening.